Ripping open packs is one of the most fun parts of any great trading card game. There's nothing as exhilarating as ripping through that thin film of plastic and seeing what cards you've pulled. Of all the different card games out there, I think Pokemon has perfected what a card game's booster pack and product should be. And in a sense, they perfected the pack in general. For the sake of this video, I'll be using the Scarlet and Violet base set as my standard for Pokemon packs. Obviously, the pack's gone through a lot of changes in the last 30-ish years, but we'll be focusing on the modern era of Pokemon, as well as the other products which Pokemon's come out with, and why they work so well for the game and for consumers. First, let's take a look at ratios and the booster packs. In Scarlet and Violet, the base set has 105 commons, 60 uncommons, 21 rares, 12 double rares, 24 illustration rares, 10 special illustration rares, and 6 hyper rares. Now it's going to differ set to set a little bit here and there, but we're going to get the rough approximation of around that many cards per set. Now, ratios are not guaranteed in a box, but some statistics from Reddit user JordanPitt269 inform us that you can expect a box to have anywhere from 9 to 16 quote-unquote hits in a box, with the average being about 12 and 16 being very unlikely to happen. Hits in this case are defined as a double rare, illustration rare, special illustration rare, or a hyper rare. This makes sense for a normal distribution curve, which shows us there's a randomness involved in pack distribution, but the Pokemon company has put in enough hits to ensure that they're going to be in pretty much every single box. The reason I think this is great is because when you have 12 hits in a 36 pack box, you can expect that within 3 to 5 packs, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a cool rare card. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet base packs at the time of making this video go for $4.99. So if a kid has a $10 allowance, they could save up for 2 weeks, buy themselves around 4 packs, and they're pretty much guaranteed gonna hit a really cool card out of it. If we compare this to the Yu-Gi-Oh model, where you have 2 secret rares and between 4 ultra rares in a box, with a chance of pulling a Starlet or QCR in every few boxes, it shows how generous the Pokemon pull rates are. Yu-Gi-Oh boxes are 24 packs, assuming we have 6 hits with 2 secrets, 4 ultras, you have a 25% chance of pulling a chase card compared to Pokemon's on average 33%. Now, I will admit the discrepancy there is relatively small at 8%, but it seems pretty considerable, especially if you're a young consumer only able to buy a handful of packs every couple of weeks. The One Piece card game is more and less generous depending on how you look at it. A booster box contains 7 to 8 SR cards that are fully foiled cards and 2 to 3 special textured cards like alt arts or secret rares, even things like manga cards. So in a 24 pack box, you'd have on the low end a 37.5 chance of pulling a foil card, but the majority of the time it's going to be an SR and not a textured card. This is another place where I think Pokemon does really well. Pokemon hits feel special. When you get an EX Pokemon or an illustration rare, it feels very cool to open. It's a unique artwork. Now, we've moved away from the statistics and going really into my opinion now, and what I think is fun. But I think it's a pretty fair take. Pokemon packs have a good amount of hits to pull. The artwork is varied enough and easy enough to pull that it's exciting to get a rare card. And so One Piece technically has higher pull rates, but I don't think I'll be as excited pulling a super rare in One Piece as I would an EX Pokemon from a Pokemon pack. Now, you can definitely disagree with that. By the math, One Piece is going to have better pull rates, but I do think Pokemon with their illustration rares, their special illustration rares, and their EX Pokemon, and the style that they have is going to be just better overall in terms of like feeling like you hit something. If you think there's a card game that does booster packs better, let me know. I will say I don't crack open a lot of Magic booster packs anymore. They're really expensive. The Final Fantasy packs, oh my god, I could not afford those. And a lot of the card games I would pick up and play, but I bought a lot of singles. And so there are other card games that have really, really good pull rates, are fun to open up, and have better pull rates than Pokemon. Let me know down in the comments. Moving on to the special products. These are the items that contain booster packs as well as other promotional items or merch to help the product sell. Pokemon does an incredible job of creating different products at all levels of price points. Looking first at the Elite Trainer boxes, priced at $60, they come with sleeves, special custom dice, a brick of Pokemon energy cards, counters, and 10 packs of cards. Even the box it all comes in is sturdy cardboard that is a great way to store your bulk in. Considering the packs themselves retail at $50 total, paying an extra $10 for all of these goodies is an incredible deal. Not only is it a good deal, this is an incredible starter kit for new players. All the materials you need to play the game are in there. All you have to do is build a deck, which is feasible with the 10 packs you're pulling from. Granted, it's not going to be a competitive deck. Now, beyond the ETBs, we have the mini tins. These are great for the young consumers. They're about $10 retail and come with 2 packs, a really cool metal tin to store dice and other accessories in, and some tins even have an art card that you can collect by buying the different tins. The price point here is unbeatable. Essentially getting 2 packs for retail and then a tin as a throw-in that works perfectly for storing dice if you actually play the game is fantastic. On top of that, it's visually appealing. It grabs the consumer's attention, it makes them want to buy the product. And it does so a lot better than your average booster box or blister pack of cards. Overall, it's designed really well. I've seen other card games like One Piece kind of emulate this with their design for mini tins, and it's a really good idea, and it's great for those young consumers who don't have a ton of money to drop on like a full booster box of cards. Pokemon has a ton of more different products, but the last one I really want to focus in on are the League Battle Decks. I can't think of any other card game that does this. A League Battle Deck is a competitive level Pokemon deck that sells for $30. You could easily take down a local tournament with one of these provided you are knowledgeable about the game. It's an amazing entry point for anyone interested in the competitive side of the game. The Gardevoir and Charizard League Battle decks included nearly every staple needed for competitive Pokemon right now. Granted, you need to make some upgrades to it, add a couple staple cards, but you're talking about $5, $10, maybe $15 worth of upgrades to make a competitive level deck from the get-go. Other card games have tried to do this in the past. Yu-Gi-Oh! With their structure deck model is that you buy 2 structure decks and you get all the cards you need for the core of a deck. And then Magic has done a similar thing with their challenge decks, which is a great way for people to get some staples they need to play standard or pioneer format, but neither one of these is sufficient enough to really build a complete deck and go to a tournament and win with it, which Pokemon does perfectly. The last thing I want to talk about is the price point of singles in Pokemon. Because of their pack structure and that cards can come in special illustration rare or as like super rare or double rares, it's really easy to get cards very cheaply. The most expensive deck I can remember from the last couple years was Regidrago V-Star, which was like about I think 120, maybe 150-ish at its height. And that is really cheap if you look at almost any other card game. That is what a budget Yu-Gi-Oh deck is. Pokemon decks are on average $30 to $60, maybe $75 for more of the higher expensive cards, but they're all cheap and they're easy to get into. It's not weird to see kids playing this game with a competitive level deck because they can afford it. People can hand them cards because they're not worth that much for the cheaper rarities, which I think is perfect for card games. That should be really what they aim for. Cards should be cheap, but you should foil out your deck, get those nice expensive alt art cards, make it all look shiny, but a card game should not be expensive for the most base rarity. Now, before I wrap up the video, I have to address the issues of Pokemon packs, which would be nothing to do with the packs themselves, it's the consumers. So many Pokemon investment bros are buying up all the packs and reselling them at insanely high prices. I really don't think Pokemon has an allocation problem, I think people have a problem. Every 2 weeks there's a post online about some crazy Pokemon scalper camping outside a vending machine to clear it out. I have a vending machine in my local Safeway, and every time I go there, it is completely sold out. The one time I saw any product in there, there's a guy camping in front of it, took out all the product, and there was nothing left. It's just disappointing to see because there's probably enough product out there. You'll see some posts of people sitting on like cases upon cases of Prismatic Evolution ETBs, and it's really just unenjoyable for the hobby. You want to have people who can get product. It's cool to have those chase cards in there, but it's really sad to see such a fun hobby being ruined by grubby adults trying to turn a profit and don't even necessarily care about the game itself. Now, I love Pokemon. It's an incredibly fun game. I'm taking a bit of hiatus from the competitive side of the game right now, partially because I like opening packs, and it is so hard to get packs right now. You definitely don't need to if you want to play the competitive Pokemon game. In fact, I'd recommend that you don't, because it's just kind of a waste of money. But with how expensive packs are right now, I'd say it's a bad idea to open them, period, just because they are insanely priced. Despite them being designed really, really well, unless you can get lucky buying them for retail or find a mystical vending machine that is fully stocked, I cannot recommend you buy Pokemon packs despite how perfectly designed their model is. If you can find one in the wild for MSRP, I wish you all the best. I hope you can find one. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. It was a ton of fun to make. There are definitely some problems with Pokemon and their cards right now, but their packs are really well designed, and I hope we kind of move out of this hustle era of the Pokemon TCG and go back to just having fun, ripping packs, and collecting cards. If you could like, comment, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day.